Hello Wonderland, Kelly here. Believe it or not, this is a Florida video, but I'm in my backyard in Virginia. And that's because I was so eager to get started while I was filming in Florida that I neglected to film an introduction, or I planned to do it later and then I never did. So yes, but this video is to introduce you to a new friend of mine, which is this, the most expensive piece of kit other than the camera attached to it that I own. By MSRP new, the most expensive piece of kit that I own, and that is the Canon EF 500mm f4L IS USM Mark II. Yeah, so I have joined the club of old men with really big freaking lenses. And this video is to introduce you to this. Yes, so let's do that. I've actually never checked out the visitor center here. I think it was closed the first couple of times I went. And now it's open. I'll have to stop in there. But I want to head straight to the boardwalk and the birding loop this morning, while it's still nice and early and not too crowded and not too hot. That is the plan. Hopefully we'll find some good stuff to shoot. Out here there are lots of common gallinule, which I call moorhens. But there was a purple gallinule, which is prettier a little bit, in the reeds over there. That was fun. Not seeing any gators just yet. There were some sandhill cranes, which is pretty cool. A lot of black vultures. I don't really shoot them. They're not attractive. But they are necessary. Okay, I see some stuff flying around over there. Let's check it out. A little blue heron up ahead on the railing here. Shot him a bit. Let's see who's out there. Lots of black vultures. As I mentioned, this is my maiden voyage with this beast. Thought I'd give a few shots, a few thoughts after a few shots that I've taken so far. So obviously it's a lot larger and heavier than I'm used to. But that's one reason I went with the Mark II. I actually tried and actually accidentally purchased a Mark I, and it was way heavy. Like, really difficult to even handhold. And I found its autofocus to be a bit sluggish and the IS not great. And to me, the sharpness wasn't even as good as the 100 to 500. So yeah, I returned that one. Found an actual legit Mark II for what I thought was a pretty fair price. And I can definitely feel the weight difference. Canon shaved about 1.5 pounds off of this version compared to the Mark I. And I can feel it. This one I can actually handhold. It's easier if I brace against something, obviously. Lean on a railing, that sort of thing. May have to invest in a decent monopod for it. I think that would be handy. Certainly I can use it on my gimbal and whatnot. This one that I got, used obviously, came with this Arca Swiss plate, which I don't like. I'm going to be replacing that. It sits too close to the lens. There's no space in between here, so you can't actually use it as much of a handle. Definitely want one that I can use as a handle. The reason this lens was a bit cheaper than a lot of the Mark IIs out there was this cosmetic damage right here. Bit scuffed and scraped up, but doesn't affect performance, obviously, as far as I can tell. And hopefully I can get some paint and touch that up, and then it would be almost good as new. Otherwise, it's in really good shape. Looks good. Haven't seen the images I'm getting from it yet, since this is the first time I'm using it. Actually just got it in my grubby hands yesterday. So yeah, was hoping to get it in time to use it today out here. That's what we're doing. Yeah, so far so good. Compared to the Mark I that I tried, it's definitely quicker on the autofocus. Hoping the image stabilization is better and marginally sharper on the sharpness, optical quality. It looks good, you know, when I zoom in on shots I've taken in the viewfinder. So hopefully what I see is what I will get. We'll see how it cleans up in post. All right, so yeah, I've joined the big freaking lens club. So far I like it. It is tough to carry around. Definitely can't fit it in my bag. But yeah, hopefully this will take my bird photography to that next level, which is what I want, right? Gives me, the f4 gives me better ISOs at higher shutter speeds in lower light. So yeah, definitely something I am looking forward to. But now, it's definitely a beautiful morning out here. Got some low clouds, got some high clouds, and a cloud deck over there. Sunrise still coming up. Got some great egrets, it looks like, flying around out there in the distance. I'll see what I can do with that. Have not seen a gator yet, but this is definitely a good park for those. So, oh, lots of egrets in the trees over there, the palms. All right, more to see, more to shoot. Okay, so far I've been shooting with the R5 Mark II, but I'm trying to make this kind of a more thorough test. So I've also brought the R7, and I'm gonna swap to that real quick. I'm shooting strictly at f4, because why not? I can, and really, that's where I wanna test the sharpness and performance anyway. So we're doing that. Make sure I've got good memory card in here. Battery's good. Yes. Okay. So now I'm heading off the boardwalk here and into the actual wetlands around the various ponds. So hopefully we'll see some good stuff. Oh, and I also brought my 1.4 teleconverter. Interested to see how that works with the adapter and lens. So at some point we'll add that too. Unexpected, there's a moorhen family with 4 babies. Pretty young. It's late in the year for that. Of course, this is Florida, and it's never that late, I guess. Green heron over there. I just saw a white peacock butterfly. We're trying different subjects. Still on the R7. For the moorhen chicks, I feel like f4 might have been too shallow depth of field. I don't know if I got, they were kind of bunched together, but I don't know if they all came in sharp. Gonna have to keep that in mind at f4. Okay. Something else over there. All right, we continue. Pretty good stuff. There's always good stuff here. Just had a hawk, either red-shouldered or red-tailed. I think red-shouldered. I am, to my shame, not great at separating those two. Or the other little hawks. I really need to brush up on that. Another moorhen with chicks. Makes sense. There were some kingfishers, 2 kingfishers, chasing each other around. And that was cool. I got one shot with both of them, well, a couple shots with both of them in the frame. But I don't think it was great. Still, better than nothing maybe. Hopefully. Otherwise, it's just gorgeous out here. I did see a few gators. It's a very nice morning. I think up here is a moorhen with a slightly older chick. starting to get its adult plumage. That'll be worth a shot. Walking out of the sun and shooting into it. Great. So as I'm shooting more at 800 millimeters, especially equivalent, definitely noticing the autofocus. Maybe it's the R7. It's not quite as decisive on the R7. It'll generally find the subject, but then it does tend to jump off of it or thinks it's still on it, even though it's not. So that's interesting. And I'm noticing too, the IS does take a few seconds to spin up and start really working. So, you know, nothing terrible. Still like the lens, definitely, so far. But things to keep in mind. Okay, there's another juvenile moorhen here. Gonna shoot it in the face. I'm always saying I need to work out more. Using this lens is sure a workout. It's arm day. I don't have any support, so I'm strictly handheld today. And it's a good thing Canon did shave off that 1.5 pounds, because I don't know if I could lift it anymore at this point, if it was any heavier. Worth it? We'll see. I keep seeing smaller birds flitting about in the shoreline plants. I think it's a yellow-throated warbler, something like that. It just kind of popped out, one of them. Let's see if I can shoot it. And there's also some little swallow-type birds flitting about. I'm going to have to switch back to the R5 for those. 800 is just too much to track them. Okay, I'll be back. Coming back up to the boardwalk, which is always, that's my favorite stretch. I love a good boardwalk. Alligator. Decent amount of gators. Nothing blocking the path this time, at least, gator-wise. Okay, so I'll wrap up here at the boardwalk, and then it's early yet. I think I'll hit another spot. Stay tuned. Checking out the visitor center. Not bad. They've got, if I can flip around here, eventually, baby gators. I like seeing them out in the wild better, but at least you see them. Fishes. Not sure what's in there. Pretty neat. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, gonna wrap it up here, get out of this park. Like I said, I think I'm gonna hit one more wildlife drive that I've also done before, but it's usually pretty good. Let me give the lens a little bit more of a workout. And it's less walking. I am just about walked out. And I've got more on the agenda tonight and tomorrow morning. And maybe Tuesday night. After tomorrow, I'm gonna take it easy for a few days. Definitely. Okay. On we go. Okay, it's actually the next day. After I left the Wetlands Park yesterday morning, I heard from a friend who wanted to meet up. So I did that, because, you know, you gotta do that sometimes. But the next day I am at the Lake Apopka Wildlife Drive, which is a spot I like to hit, because it's usually quite productive. It is mid-afternoon, so might not be the best time of day to be here, but But yeah, I've got a couple hours to see what we see. I see some stuff in the distance. And interestingly, my intention here today was to use the 500 f4 with the RF 1.4 teleconverter. But I've discovered that is impossible. The teleconverter won't fit with the RF to EF adapter, or EF to RF adapter. So, can't do that. If I got an EF adapter, or teleconverter, that would work. But I don't really need or want to do that if that's the only EF lens that I have or would be using. So, I'm going to stick with the, right now I've got the R5II. I have the R7 with me as well, so might switch back and forth again. But yeah, we'll see what we come up with here. What am I hearing? I'm hearing something interesting. But I see a great blue heron, so let me shoot what I can see here and see how this goes. Actually got really lucky. They want everybody out of this drive by 5, and it's like 11 miles, so last vehicle is supposed to enter by 3, and it's a bit after 3 when I got here, so luckily someone had just opened the gate and I was able to sneak in. But I'll try to be out by 5, so I'm not breaking any rules. Oh, there's some stuff. Yeah, there's lots of birds here, of course. There's always lots of birds here. Okay, continue. Lot of moorhens today, common gallinules. A lot of gators, already seeing a lot of gators, and I haven't even gotten to the spot that I think of as Gator Central. So that might be interesting today. Some aninga, various wading birds, great blue heron, little blue heron, I think a reddish egret or 2. Some osprey, which I think I actually see one right over there on top of a palmetto. It's something. Let me shoot it. There's another couple of egrets or herons. Yeah, active today. A little surprise for this time of day. I love it. So what I thought might be an osprey perched on a palmetto was actually a hawk of some sort, eating a prey item. So I switched to the R7 for a little more reach. Got some shots of that. Very nice. Some more egrets, herons. This is what I like. Everywhere I look, there's something. Florida is definitely good for this sort of thing. And more gators. Okay, I'm coming up to the pond that I really think of as the alligator capital of this drive. So we'll see how that is. This is what I'm talking about. This pond here, often pretty full of gators. Not a lot visible today. There's one across from me there on the bank. Got a shot of him. And then off in the corner there in the distance are a couple swimming. Shot them too. Over here on the shore, there's a great blue heron. Pretty big one. I'll see if I can get up close for an intimate portrait of that. Or if it spooks, we'll see. An osprey flew over, so I got some nice shots of it. It landed up there on that power line. Sometimes there's a ditch or a canal right over here. Sometimes I've seen baby gators in there. I'll take a quick look, and then we'll continue. So the gators are here along the road, actually. There's one right there. There he goes. There's this little one. Sorry, guys. It's a nice day for a swim, though, isn't it? Out and about. There was a great blue heron right along the side of the road. Pretty much minimum focus distance for the lens. I actually had to switch from the R7 to the R5 so I could get its whole head in the frame. But that ought to be a nice sharpness test, I'm thinking. What I'm seeing in the viewfinder looks good, but of course won't be till I get home and get them on the computer that I can take a nice close look. But as far as performance goes, what I'm seeing in the viewfinder looks fine, looks really good. It better since, I mean, brand new this lens was pretty pricey. Not too cheap, used even. Performance-wise though, nothing today is changing my mind from yesterday, which is that it's a fine performer, if heavy. There are some, I don't know, signs of age, quirks from the last generation, maybe the IS having to spin up before it really takes effect. Autofocus still seems just a little bit dicey to me. It'll either not want to lock on the subject, think it has when it really hasn't, or jump around a bit. And, you know, that could be settings on the camera that I need to mess with or tweak a little bit. But generally, once it does positively find a subject and lock on, it's good. For like birds in flight, I'm seeing if it's against just the sky or distant clouds, real quick to lock onto those, so that's nice. So yeah, I'm still pleased so far. Definitely want to get home and see the results that I'm getting. But I think I will enjoy having this piece of kit. Alright, I better pick up the pace just a little bit if I want to get out of here before 5 like I'm supposed to. So, I'm coming onto a stretch that's not as interesting anyway. So, see if we spot anything interesting. Would like to get some more raptors in the sky, maybe. Well, stay tuned. Might be a little hard to tell, but up ahead there, that's rain in the distance. It is that time of day, that time of year. That'd be alright though. Cool it off a little bit. Some nice action going on over here. Like another great blue heron. Hello, friend. Got some ducks in this pond that I don't quite recognize, even though I feel like I should. So I got shots to identify. But look how gorgeous the sky is. And there's some purple gallinules. Yeah, let me shoot them and get a scenic or two. He's got a nubbin for an arm. Probably from another gator. And I didn't really care for the outro that I filmed in Florida either, so I will do that here. I really covered, I think, the highlights and lowlights of the lens. Not really lowlights. I don't want to paint it in a bad light in any way. I really like it. I've used it a little bit more since I've been home, and still good. Still worth it, I think. Look forward to seeing more of it, hopefully. Definitely. Don't know how often I'll take it on, hikes or anything like that, but yeah, for birding outings, definitely that will be one of the things that I'll be packing. All right, so until next time, you know the drill. Be good to yourself. Take care of each other. Don't forget to be awesome. Get out and wander. Later.